This call is being recorded.
There we go. All right. So please do not hesitate to um, interrupt if you have any questions whatsoever.
Okay.
And yes, glad we can actually do this. So, yeah, with that being said, we do see that, well, you were born 91, which is a very pivotal year. We also see that you were born in Leo season with Jupiter in Leo, which is a very good look. There's an alien constructs article I usually reference that we see your alien gang. Actually, you have an alien construct in your chart. You have one that I have in Capricorn, the Saturn vessel, because we're moon Saturns, but you have it in Aquarius. So there's certain layers to this reading I look forward to sharing. One, of course, being this alien construct that I'll share the article to when you get your recording. Your rising is in Taurus, like me, but you also have your sun and moon in fixed signs. Fixed signs are the royal axis of the zodiac. So in every sense of the word, you are royal, you are queen, right? Which yeah, it's a huge deal. It's whenever I see like moon, sun, and rising in a fixed sign, you have multiple aspects of royalty. You even have Pluto in its dignity as shadow in your seventh. So when I see a chart or archetype like this is a quintessentially royal archetype. And on top of that, you have, of course, Saturn on your moon. So you're effectively immortal right now. Congratulations. Before the Saturn return with Saturn vessels, this is referenced from the author of the article I'm going to share. I got a reading with her. I missed it. I had to wait 4 months. I missed it. I had to wait another 4 months. It was still one of the best readings I ever had in my whole life. But yeah, she had mentioned that once we get our Saturn returns, beforehand, we can actually die. But after, we're immortal. And that's cool because the whole notion of, first of all, the Saturn vessel alien, which you'll see, can establish world families, intuit the strategies of world leaders, heal others, father abandonment issues, energetically assist women in pregnancy, amongst other things. I'm not gonna lie, because I have this, I'm one of the most powerful people and souls ever. I'm just be honest. But you having this in Aquarius puts you on a level even higher than what I have, because the strongest zodiac sign is Aquarius. And so you have one of the strongest souls ever, like Moon Saturn. I want to do a special documentary on Moon Saturn, but especially the Moon Saturn Aquarius. You have come of age over the past couple of years. It must be an extraordinary feeling. It's just as opposite your sun. So your life could literally feel like you versus the world. But you literally have Jupiter on your. It's so interesting. It's kind of like this.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, and I'm glad that resonates with you because as a Leo sun, you're the performer on stage. But like you care, it's like as a Taurus rising, we're producers. We're the self-made royals. So I put myself on, like I manifested this brand that I have, and that made me realize, wow, Taurus risings, we have our personality, we're self-made. And what's key about that is you seem to literally have caught yourself in a complex production because you're the producer, right? You've produced this stage for yourself that your son in the fourth is at home performing on, and then you carry the swagger of Jupiter, but then you have this like beef with your soul, which has Kronos on top, which is the writer of the script. And so it's like you carry on, you feel the collective, and you know how to react of how like the collective around you may hate and throw shade on you while you perform and defend yourself in the fourth. Does that kind of resonate?
Exactly.
That is so awesome. Okay, first of all, I have to say that is super awesome. Because I think now that your Saturn has returned, you've come into the realization that maybe before this, you may have thought a lot of this was in your head, because it is a burden to carry. You have all the knowledge in the world, and your responsibility as a 29-degree MC in Capricorn, which is maximum legacy power here. By the way, congratulations with the North Node. You're destined for greatness with this. But there's still a burden right? And it's cool because you're uncovering this now as Taurus risings. Jupiter went over our career the last year, so we've had career upgrades, and Saturn is literally in your return establishing the authority of this legacy, the knowledge that goes into how extraordinarily you represent, and literally with your soul hold space for this. So it is a soul burden in that, as a vessel of this Titan king, you hold the knowledge of the collective, but you also know your reputation and how people feel about you. And that's why I said protect Leo at all costs, because what you're going through is what you've had since birth is what all Leos are going through right now. And it's, as a performer on stage, that blowback by the audience that's scrutinizing and very, groupthink and playing contrarian, it holds you accountable to integrity, but it also strengthens your character by, holding space. Now, because you have Chiron on your sun, this is a perpetual wound and lesson that you're overcoming right now. Because now, being a Leo is one thing with this Saturn opposition, but having it square Pluto can nearly be dangerous, because as a producer, you're performing all of this to the audience, and the seventh house Scorpio gives us this shadow Pluto where we attract what people are obsessed with us. Let me just be real. Like, people either extremely hate you or love you. And it's really just because you got something they'll never have. It's usually comes down to that all the time. Because with fixed
Yeah.
sign, right? You either got it or you don't. And you, my friend, you got it. You, oh yes, you got the knowledge with Saturn here. And like, this is internal authority. So like, if other people disagree with you, they just have to find out later they're wrong. Like, you can't really be wrong with this type of energy. The only time you'll be wrong is if you doubt yourself, because it's supernatural. Like, you literally have the total knowledge of the universe in your soul. Every moon Saturn, in a sense, has this. I met a Scorpio sun, or I know a Scorpio sun who has this. She's a little crazy. This is the Scorpio, but she's also super psychic, and her and her son have known stuff about me that no one knows. And
Wow.
yeah, and it made me respect Aquarius, because it's like, it makes sense. Aquarius would know, because that's the motto. I know. Y'all the only ones that know anything. So, that could be a burden to constantly, especially because you express it through Leo. People can kind of play you like, oh, you're just passionate. They'll know that you're a genius, like you are in the know. And that can sometimes be a burden, to know things that other people may not or accept, or before it's time, because opposite your sun, that's feeling into the collective, playing contrarian against you, but also strengthening your passion to express more intellect and knowledge behind. So it's not really bad. It could just be very challenging, because it's a part of this
Yeah.
extreme T square. And we don't live in a perfect world. So people are just going to project and hate on you as if you're some kind of like narcissist, when really you're extraordinarily awesome. So as natural Queen Tiana, right, as a Taurus rising, you carry the vibration of cosmic courage, the knowledge of the golden inspiration that has you expand. Because this is so key. Saturn constricts and limits, but Jupiter evolves. So you're able to feel into that very crystallized, serious Saturnian collective knowledge, and fuel that and express that to evolve how boldly you come from the heart. It's just the fourth house is hidden. So it's going to be exclusive for those who are invite only into your home stage, which is really
Yeah.
cool for fourth house Leo. We could throw awesome house parties. And when Jupiter is always going to be lit. It's just with Chiron, you're healing that urge to share more of your private, life, because with Pluto it could be very gossipy, and then with Saturn it could just be scrutinized by people who it's not even their business. And once again, like, the the Pluto could also be intense jealousy from other people who don't have access to you, like they may feel entitled, because Pluto in the seventh will make it to where, as a shadow aspect, which you'll also see in that article, like, people can worship you at first, and then all of a sudden switch and try and humiliate you by trying to manipulate you. Like if people can't manipulate you, then they'll show their true colors. It
Yeah,
makes it
exactly.
makes it makes your relationship super intense though. And there's a lot of fortune here. So you awaken people in relationships. So there's a merit to this. But if people can't handle that intensity, they'll get super weird really fast.
You say I awaken people in relationships?
Maybe by triggering them mercilessly, but yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's very interesting.
I have never been in a relationship. And a lot of that is because Pluto in the seventh. Plus, I don't really go out like that. But yeah, it's Pluto in the seventh makes it really hard because your relationships have to be pure or they won't work.
Exactly.
And then your Saturn Aqua is a literal cock blocker. So if your soul doesn't like the person, it will literally sabotage stuff supernaturally. Like they'll just miss the call, they'll look at you weird, weird stuff. So if you felt that, it's because it's a thing. It's like an invisible force that makes sure you don't hang around people who aren't legit. So that
Oh
can
yeah,
kind of
I make sure I keep the right kind of energy in my surroundings.
right, which is very remarkable. Your chart is amazing, and I'm glad we're able to do this because the eclipse is manifesting our royal essence, and you're unlocking past life relationships with people or lessons to really come more into valuing your own royalty and manifesting more of the wealth around your persona and the groundedness. But it's cool because now you're a part of this T square, and that whole T square, while Saturn is returning for you, is officially, let's get into the next level of this. You have a lot of soul knowledge and power, and so every Saturn in Aquarius has universal manipulation. So it's just so interesting to see Jupiter on the opposite end of this. I have a version of this. It's just I'm not a Cancer, right? But I do have Jupiter and Chiron in Cancer, opposite Saturn and Neptune and Uranus in Capricorn. So I never understood why, especially more recently. But like anytime I get like super happy, I instantly feel this other side, like screw that, or don't be happy, and it's like what the heck, like it's really weird. Like it's almost as if like I'll hear elements in my thoughts like trying to balance out that happiness with something effed up, and then I realize it's the opposition. Like every time that Jupiter expands the emotions, the Saturn be on some hating that shit or just something to like focus it. So I was gonna ask, do you notice that too? Like when your heart is expanding, does the soul kind of like intellectualize it real quick to make it more logical? Or
Yeah, I
I can
don't
imagine
know.
it's
It
a lot more
depends.
extreme for you. Wow. But would you say it's more balanced or is it like a teeter totter, like happy, serious?
I could say it's balanced most days.
I like that. Okay. So it really does depend on Pluto because the way it's actually masterful how you bring all of this intensity to other people with the warmth of Leo in the fourth, but then the way you show it more intellectually. Genius actually. So yeah, something to keep in mind because you are by the time you and I finish Saturn in the 10th, we're kind of set for life here. Jupiter has evolved your rewards from career, and now as it's going through Aries, you're in a period that's going to release and have you surrender. You may feel lost, like you don't know what the hell is going on while it's through your 12th. And that's because you're ending a 12-year cycle. And 2024, you're going to begin a new one. So you're going to ascend your identity because you have a secret identity, 12th house Aries. You're going to understand your understanding of how you're evolving your spiritual beliefs around yourself. And it's going to kick in all your abilities as you start a brand new cycle. So when I went through something like this, I didn't know I was going to become the peace dealer. And so it's a very magical transit, but it requires surrender. Now you are destined for greatness, North Node Capricorn. You're destined to really teach success and be led by example. The queen goddess Juno is near here too. And opposite your third house, you're using the emotional intelligence that constitutes the attitude you have and the skills you use and how to really direct philosophies and your own life and your own beliefs as well. Now, because it's with Neptune and Uranus, your philosophy is going to be unconventional. It's going to be seen as crazy, but it's actually genius and divine. And it aligns you with such a unique way to transcend outdated mechanics of success and really utilize technology and spirituality or psychic ability to really step into this. It's a difficult burden, but it's also maximum success. So congratulations, because Saturn has gone over here, Jupiter's gone over here. You've really laid the brickwork and done the work for this to now naturally come back around and bless you. And
I
not only
love that.
right. I hope that resonates too, because Uranus is opposite your natal Pluto. As the South Node will unlock this, this is going to be more in a position to unlock an inhibition behind maybe just holding back dealing with people, because it's so intense. With Moon Saturn, we'll feel emotionally constipated, and then we have Moon Saturn in Capricorn Aquarius, so we don't even really have feelings like that. Like we can just decide to be apathetic and suppress it if need be. I mean, obviously, we all process emotions, but I'd like to invite you to the fact that we don't really have feelings like that. We're kind of like soul gangsters. You're a soul reaper, by the way. So you assist the dying in crossing over in the knowledge of where souls function or go after they die. But Saturn finishing your 10th is now the knowledge of authority. You have authority to really, this could give you positions of authority that you now, with your knowledge and soul knowledge, acquire. But a classic example of this, which I'll also classic example of this is Will Smith. Will Smith got an Oscar while Saturn was on his MC in Aquarius. Yeah, he was also banned for 10 years, but he got an Oscar. And right,
Yeah.
that's kind of like a way to see that we're coming into our accolades. Saturn is going to be a lot more serious, but it's literally securing the wealth that will come from you being able to control or be autonomous with career once this is finished. And then it'll weed down your social circle as it goes through the 11. But did you have any questions so far?
No, I'm just taking it all in. Like it's a lot of it is on point and it's really interesting. And it's funny because I had go to this meditation class every once in a while, but the last one I went to, she was talking about it's the time where we need to just surrender and a time of no judgment and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of the words you're saying, I'm like, dang.
That's beautiful. And we also want to keep in mind that, relative to this element and aspect of your destiny, we see Lilith and Juno rarely combining. uh Lilith to me is like the slore or the homewrecker, and Juno is the good wife. Now, not to me, really. This is what Lilith is seen as. Lilith, honestly, is, especially for the woman, they'll say the shadow of the feminine, but in many cases, Lilith is needed to exalt or express a more rebellious side of any woman. And Juno is the wife of Jupiter, or an aspect of rulership. But she is, in woman, you will see her having the qualities of commitment towards marriage and the good wife. So whenever we see both of these together, I see this as a combination of like wifey and mistress. That in Capricorn is very organized, let's just say, in its expression. And right. And another reason why this is also going to be important as well has much to do with this sense of how pivotably, wait a minute. Okay. How wow. How pivotally you really form your philosophy around the combination of this. I like to see this as now both of these energies in their full power and not clashing with each other. And with Venus and Virgo, the way you express beauty is very analytical, with Mercury in its dignity and exaltation, and Mars. So you're very strategic and analytical in how all of this connects psychically with Neptune and Uranus, where your body will move on its own, and you will notice enough context clues and details in your analysis to just naturally be led psychically through situations, in which case you don't always have to be aware of these dynamics too, which is also really awesome. But regardless, it really will go a long way towards preparing you to really not only own up to most of this, or the nature of how you connect with and through this. But we can also say putting you in a position to creatively, because with Virgo fifth house, in some essence, we have fun at work. So, or we find being practical fun, but it makes you also very serious in a sense about what you love to do. So this can make you a bit of a perfectionist, but it
I
really,
am.
all right, good to know. Yes, especially with that Virgo energy, there's no way you're not, right. Which, I mean, I appreciate it because I have Leo friends with this, and like when I share my
It's
music.
gotten better though.
Thank you, thank you. Y'all drive me crazy with that. I'm not gonna lie, because like you'll do something literally perfect, and then that one note was off, and then it's not good enough for you. It's like, oh my god.
It
But the
ruins
reason,
the whole thing.
right? It's interesting. I appreciate it though. I mean, whenever I share music like this, whenever I share music, and I share it with a Leo, for example, with Venus and Virgo, they'll always criticize it. They'll always say something constructive and be like, "Okay, it could do this, it could do that." And if I had a lot of ego, I'd take that the wrong way. Like, what? But like, it's so constructively critical. It shows you have a good ear for talent. Like, you know exactly how to fix or polish things, which is really awesome, and it really helps with the art too. So I appreciate it, because it's not like just being a yes man or just being like, oh, that was awesome. Like, you could tell, like, you really are listening, you really are kind of giving in
Yeah.
criticism, which is really dope. But it will trigger people who are in their ego, and make
Oh
people,
yeah, I know.
oh my god, you think you're better than everyone, and it's like, oh my god, you could come off as really strong for people, and basically
Yeah,
weak
I've definitely noticed that.
weak people can be irritated by you because they'll just take things you do very personally, but strong people will respect you a lot because real recognize real. But you could clash with other stubborn personalities, and that thankfully will be good. You just want to remember, you're the one with soul knowledge. So 9 times out of 10, if not 11 times out of 10, you're the one who knows. You have the higher knowledge.
Exactly.
Right. That's really awesome. And other than that, I'm going to send you this recording. Did you have any final questions?
I don't at the moment. I know I'm excited to share this with Miley. She's the one who hooked me up with you, and
Right. Shout out
she
to her.
she's always felt she's one of my best friends, and she's always felt I'm special. So she's
Nice.
excited to know what it's about.
That's awesome. That's super
Yeah.
awesome. Well, yeah, I'm glad
Well,
I can
thank
share.
you.
No problem. And you stay blessed as always.
You as well.
All right. And have a blessed weekend.
All right. You too. Thanks, Michael.
All right.